Hi and welcome everyone. This is Lavender Sky Panther. Today is Monday, August 30th, 2021, and today's topic is called Fancy Flying. It's a collection of images and sky observations happening August 22nd through the 28th, 2021, and this happens to be show number 111. And before we get into it, I'd like to say good day. Osio, how, buongiorno, guten tag, kia ora, jambo, kedu, buenos dias, bonjour, ni hao, dzień dobry, konnichiwa, dobrowania, annyeonghaseyo, boa tarde, dobry den, aloha winala, kalimera, guten dag, and good day. And today's starter image is combined with the words wisdom and spirit of the day page once again. But before we hop into that, I just want to bring up a topic or subject I've wanted to talk about for a long time now, ever since I discovered it. And I'm going to say this is a time of great questioning things. Question everything you can. Throw it into a new light, as I like to say tongue-in-cheek, whether that light is artificial or original. If you've watched my show at all, you know what I'm getting at with a little wink-wink there between the difference between natural and artificial light, namely the sun. But anyway, now that we're going through this phase, this extraordinary phase of a great awakening, and we're, ditching all of the great deception, those days are done. And, so I wanted to start questioning some things that we just take for granted. For instance, at least I have all my life. Where the heck is the origin of Hel Lo, for example, in the English, United States English language anyway? We've got the compound word really of Hel and Lo, if you think about it. So it's Hell and then an O at the end, or it's Hel plus Lo. Now, if you look at Norse mythology, Hel is the daughter of Odin, who governed over the underworld, or Hell, right? The Hell realm. And it was located in the Nifilheim. Now, Lo is part for Loki, and that's the trickster god who Hel was the child of. So, supposedly in the Norse mythology, at least according to some of the just general internet searches I've made, actually Hel is the daughter of Loki, okay, now appointed by Odin to govern over the Hell realm. Now you got to really watch and question things once again. Disney, I'll call it, as in dismiss Disney, has become very dark, evidenced over time. If you look at some of these movies that have come out in the last decade, it's just been really shocking at what of a departure it's come from, and it's really not for kids if you really look at what's going on. Tons of secret society stuff and codes and symbolisms embedded in there, false information, inverse world, inverted information. So just as an example, the one movie, the Marvel Thor Ragnarok, they're calling Hel as the child of Odin, not of Loki. So they've kind of spun things all around. So once again, I just say please question everything. In the age of the internet, you can really do tons of searches. And if those don't line up and are contradictory, then keep digging deeper and look inside of you to think, not think, but to feel it out. What rings true for you? And go with that. So back to our little Hel Lo problem or challenge of the day here. I do believe it's coming more from Hel and Lo, the combination of Hel and Loki. So Hel and trickster, because words have meanings and energetic power. And a lot of these deceptive, humanity harming systems in place that need to fall away use every chance they get with numerology, number power, and word power, and they twist things around to make us use those words to work for them. So I'm saying no more. I'm doing heaven high or hi everyone. And, also in a basic internet search, I noticed they attribute Hel Lo to, something that morphed over time from hala, hollow, hullo, but nowhere does that put a hell in things. And knowing languages, things don't mutate like that. It doesn't work that way. So anyway, I'm just calling baloney or BS. Baloney is another one of those fun words. Why do in the U.S. we say baloney? It's Bologna from the Italian city, but we've, kind of morphed it and degenerated it into baloney. So I'm calling that all nonsense. Anyhow, hi. That's my new go-to. I'm ditching Hel Lo. I might slip once in a while, but you know what I mean. Okay, let's get into the page. I know that was kind of a roundabout intro this time, but I felt it was important and it was long overdue. Okay, so message of the day, question things, please, and then go with what rings true for you with your inner heart space. All right, now we're going to look at finally get to the words, wisdom, and spirit of the day page. We're looking at this Luminous Warrior, and it's number 32. I'll cover the number first, and then we'll get into some potential ideas and things that are just popping up for me with this. See what it invokes with you as you look at this image. But number 32, according to an excerpt from Angel Numbers, Joanne's Sacred Scribes, and again, that's an Australian site. I highly recommend it if you want to know some spiritual, metaphysical angel number meanings for different numbers. You might see repeating numbers like 111, like they show, 1111, 222s, 333s, 444s, 555s, things of that nature. Or you can really type in any number that starts to hit your radar on a given day, and then type it in, and it will give you some interesting meanings. Now, 32 is a message that you are working in alignment with the energies of the Ascended Masters, and they are helping you through your next life steps and actions. And that's beautiful. It speaks for itself. I'm not going to elaborate on that one. But I want to now look at the Luminous Warrior card. And right away, what's interesting is I did pull two other cards too, Rose Quartz and Pink Opal. And these cards are coming from the Daily Crystal Inspiration and Mystical Shaman or Shaman Oracle decks. And what's funny is we picked two pink family cards. So Rose Quartz's message is open up your heart, and Pink Opal is be kind to yourself. And I just pulled out some Rose Quartz that I happen to have in hand, and I pulled out the green opal because I didn't have any pink opal. And all of these pinks and greens are representing the heart chakra, the heart space. But anyway, getting to the Luminous Warrior card itself. I love this card. At first, I didn't really want to present it. I love it. I don't hate it. It's like a love and do I love it relationship with me in this card. I love the kind of the intended spirit of it in the Luminous Warrior part. Yes and no. I'll explain why. But first off, this was on the bottom of the deck when I first picked up the deck to shuffle it, and something just said, that's going to be your card. But I'm like, no, I'm not really feeling this one. So I shuffled, and sure enough, this one flew out on its own. So it's saying, yes, you are going to talk about this one. As that usually happens with these things when you draw out cards. If you haven't done it, I recommend you try it. Pick a deck that seems positive, whether it's crystals or has more overlaying, symbolic meanings, more intricate card like this one, and just have fun with it and explore what comes up and what thoughts come up. Anyhow, there are plenty of sites online to look at on how to do that, and then you can also develop a style of your own that makes sense when you draw cards. But anyway, back to our card. I know I keep avoiding it for some reason, but back to our Luminous Warrior. So I like this card in the fact that he's standing there, and I'm going to use the slang, so chill, like he's unfazed, and it looks like he's like thinking, hey, okay, you're going to tie my hands behind my back. I don't care. I'm still shining, bro. Also, like, tie my hands behind my back. Who cares? Because I'm going to fly. I don't need arms. I got wings. Anyhow, I'm just going to say that about for now. But what I really want to say is back to our little question things theme. I'm not really crazy about the term warrior when you talk about a light warrior or a light worker. In this case, luminous warrior sounds a little bit better. I do like the quote in Star Wars, I think it was Empire Strikes Back. Yoda says, luminous beings are we, not this crude matter, meaning we're our inner light, not the shell, the 3D shell of the body, the material body. But in this case, yeah, I just don't like, for me personally, just don't like the term light worker or light warrior. It just seems like too much effort is involved when light is just a state of beingness. We are, human beings, so the human part to me is the 3D made part, and the being part is that thing you can't quite define, the state of beingness that is just pure light. So that brought to mind that, hey, let's question the etymology and the origins of all of these things. And to me, it just does not resonate that as light warrior or light worker. So let's look at light worker for a minute. I just quickly jotted down while I was having coffee this morning, trying to switch to tea, but yes, I had some coffee. Just because tea is healthier. But anyway, I just randomly, just jotted down what came to mind of what else could we say other than light worker. And I know the intended meaning, and that's all fine and well, jolly good, but it's time to maybe question it and change it a little bit. So I'm going to read a few things. Just imagine putting light in front of it, and then see if any of these click with you, and see what other words you could come up with that make more sense or feel more at home for you. So for me, instead of light worker, it's more like a lighthouse, a shiner, emanator, giver, bringer, anchorer, generator, bringer, bridger, beer, expander, helper, friend, grower, holder, love, a light love, light haven, a light speaker, light embracer, light harbor, light nurturer, light spark, or you can even say like a light bro, a light sis, a light mama, a light papa, whatever. It just, all of that just seems a little bit more to bring it to home and bring it down to earth. Instead of a worker, I think we're, a worker, we're kind of done with this kind of master-slave idea, system idea, and to me, just worker is too heavily entrenched and intertwined with that concept. Anyway, see what you think. Then I also want to question now light warrior. To me, it's more like a light powerhouse or light stronghold, light haven. Again, just put light in front. There's spirit shiner, light burst, what else? Unstoppable power, light riser, light tower, source focuser, source stronghold, source sender, spirit soarer, fire holder, just anything else but a warrior. Because when I know the implied meaning is to stand up and to fight and, holding the light and fighting for truth. Well, again, if we just are something that's absolute, emanating out that power and that light, there's no need to fight. It's just like be it and anchor it stronger. That's all. Be that stronghold, be that anchor, and be that radiator and that generator and that unstoppable knowing force, totally confident that we are completely God aligned, spirit aligned, divine aligned, universe aligned, whatever you want to say. Anyhow, that's enough for now, I think. But let's move on and get to the sky observations. So, whether you're new or returning to this channel, a heartfelt thanks to you and welcome. If you're new, stick around a bit. If you're returning, I know I mention this always. You may want to skip this part, come back in later. I'm just going to go over some of the basics. Now, if you're new, the basics I'm going to kind of really truncate this time since I spent a longer time on the intro than I'd like. And so do please have a look at some of my previous shows to get more in-depth description of what I'm doing here and why I'm doing it. The really, short version is that I'm looking in the skies above in Miami, Florida, as I'm coming and going about my daily business, and I'm noticing a ton of strangeness going on. I've lived here for decades on the planet. I've lived all over the world. I'm back in an area I'm very familiar with, and I'm noticing very strange, you can say high strangeness, anomalies, oddities, really bizarre stuff happening in our skies increasingly, like day by day. Especially intensifying over the last 3 years, but certainly going on. I first noticed something really strange happening in 2014, but kind of didn't really look at it further. I know other people have noticed things in 2012 and even a bit before that. Anyway, I take pictures. You're going to see that I label it either original photo or enhanced photo. When we get to enhanced photo, I simply take in the image and edited attributes of it, such as color, saturation, brightness, contrast, things of that nature, just to better highlight and get at what is going on in the sky. Since I'm using a camera phone, an old one, and it has such a vaster range of light and photosensitivity than our human eye has at the moment. And so a lot of times I'll also just sense stuff with like an extra spidey sense, if you will, or, using the third eye, or just feeling just something seems amiss or just different. Doesn't mean it's necessarily bad, just different, nothing ominous. If there is something ominous, I would say it. I've only had 2 moments where something felt ominous, but I don't have anything showing that in any shows over, a long period of time. So anyway, this is all done in positive light. The things that I show are going to show a lot of cloaking craft, and that's why I put cloud activity in quotes in the bottom right-hand corner on these slides. Suspecting cloaking craft, and in some cases there are actual machine parts popping out. That you can see well documented and shows a previous show I did called Awe-Filled Sunset. Really captures that to the point where I could overlay sketch, outlines on some of these parts and ship shapes. It's really pretty phenomenal. So some of these things started presenting the more I started looking up, starting in 2018. And you can see what kicked all of this off on my very first show of why I even started to look up. There was also an incident or bizarre event attached to that of why I started looking up. But anyway, for now, that's just kind of the brief overview. Now, when I talk about cloak and craft, it can be something 3D, 3-dimensional, like you could walk up, theoretically walk up to it, touch it, knock on it, things of that nature. It could be something interdimensional, that's very ephemeral, ghost-like, or something that's 3D or interdimensional, kind of phasing in and out of state. There's a whole much more to this. If you see red and pink color signatures when we get into things, look at my description box below to see what could be causing that. And look around at other Earth and sky watching channels all over YouTube with people just like myself directly observing the skies and the strangeness. And, take a look at what they're reporting too, and then kind of put this whole story together for yourself of what you think is going on. Okay? And as always, I'm just giving you my perspective from, over a couple of decades of a very high, intense technical background, also artistic background, cultural background, and metaphysical background now. So that's just my overview, but you may find yet other things in these images, and as always, I invite you to let me know in the comment section below if you have any interesting angles on what things could be, even if it's a logical or just fun and fantastical view. Now, when I talk about cloaking material, and I guess I didn't give my basic intro, I'm giving you more in depth, but oh well. When I talk about cloaking material or cloaking craft, I'm going to use plasma as the word as my go-to. Could it be something else? Sure. But for right now, I'm using that as my word and my go-to, meaning something that is heavier than water vapor, that hangs around in the atmosphere for a long time, sticks around like glue, hangs in there for hours and hours on end, and also can serve, great for cloaking material. Anyway, let's get into things. So now I also drop in some letters just to keep focus on some things. And also in some photos, you're just going to see there's just so much going on. I just kind of flag, whatever, pops right off at my attention, comes to my attention. Now, when I go over things, I might not get to every single letter. If I pass over something that you really wanted to hear about, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll be happy to cover it in a future show. All right, so let's get into this. So now, this is just really far off at the distance, looking south toward the evening, and I just could still make out these shapes with the naked eye, even though things were getting kind of dim. Hang on one second. Okay, I'm back. And so with enhancement, things become much clearer. And this is actually the cover slide. The title kind of, was evoked by this letter B guy or girl or whatever this thing is it. But it also comes later in the show why, and I'll touch on that as well. So anyway, look at this. So as I often say, if you've watched any of my previous shows, whenever we have exact symmetry, and this is pretty darn close, there's cases where I see equilateral triangles, hexagonal figures, octagons, that just does not happen in a natural cloud system. So look how, very near symmetrical this element is. So I'm calling that right off the bat cloak and craft. At the A element too, that looks like something engineered. We've got straight lines and angled there. And this looks like something is popping out like a triangular shape with some type of feature, or something on this craft. It looks like the end of a pipe that we're looking at on angle, something like that. So very intriguing, a lot going on in there. Hang on again, sorry. Okay, I'm back. So now I've just upped the brightness a bit, played with the contrast a little bit more to get at what could be going on in this mass. And it's, usually I can get at more detail, but this was so late in the evening and my, camera was starting to get grainy. So this is the best I could do. But we do see different color signatures, some curiosities like in here. This is a pure arc down here. So, perfect curve. So I've got to say this has to be some type of design, element with intelligent design to it. And it might be part of an overall thing, like a pointed little elliptical thing. See what you think, but I'm definitely saying cloak and craft here, as I will probably on every slide. But anyway, here's another scene now looking west toward the evening. And again, just weird things. These are on angle, and that in itself is strange because other stuff is doing other stuff in the background that's horizontal in the same proximity. But then we also get this weird choppy stuff. Looks to me like cloak coming in and out of state. And look at this. These are on the same exact angle. That's not a haphazard coincidence. So is this. So we're going to look at this with enhancement. And there's all kinds of stuff going on here. Look at B.1. We get a white, like LED, white, blue signature going on here with these parallel lines. That in itself is some type of object. This choppiness I refer to as staccato cloud activity, meaning, or staccato activity, not even with the cloud part. Meaning there's got to be cloaking craft or multiple cloaking craft in the area, sending out electromagnetic wave activity or other type of radio or other kind of frequency into the sky to disturb the local atmosphere as a means of cloak. And also maybe just as a function of what it is, and that's what it does to the atmosphere. So we look here, and I love the backlight situation, as always I say on every show, because I just do. I love it because it just reveals so much. Sometimes it reveals things that, have more questions than answers to them, but that goes with the territory. But anyway, look at this. We've got that signature going on here. Got a really weird object here, and then look at it's making like a backward Z form, that looks like the end of a pipe or a tube as well. So I'm going to say, of course, cloak and craft here. This is just very strange. We need to look at that in a little more detail. And this too, this could be two parts of something or one. But no matter what, we've got more solid mass with like cloaking material as it's black backlit. And then we've got this red-pink signature here with white and then gold. So there's enough color ranges going on here to also, spark some questions. What's going on here? We're going to zoom in on that D element. We've got like this weird little, backward J shape. We're going to look at it with enhancement. I couldn't get to too much on this one other than, it just seems that there's enough to question. Like, it looks like something with design happening in here, intelligent design, and then here too. So what this is exactly, I can't tell you, but no natural cloud does this. It makes these kinds of moves. We have like a triangular form here, the silhouette of it, pure triangular form. Just doesn't happen in nature, and when in the clouds. And when I see these little bright bits, as you see here, they've got shadow and dimension to them too. These look like tubes, or sticks. I think this is surface texture on some type of craft. Just because whenever we see these brighter, like whiter points with shadow and things defining things, it does look like machine parts. And so again, that's what I'm going to say it is. And if you have any other interesting angles on this, let me know. Also, this trailing off along the side or back of this thing is very interesting. Again, we got a sharp point, like a triangular form. Just doesn't happen in nature. And these more solid forms with this wafting, cloaking material coming over it. It's very interesting. Again, as I always say, I wish we could see all of this without the smoke and mirrors and the cloak to see what's really going on. And if that didn't convince you enough, because there's going to be some more convincing examples than others, throughout the show. I'm just kind of, going along chronologically showing you what I was seeing in a given week or span of several days. But anyway, in this one, what caught my attention right away was B. That's a triangular form, no question about it, pure and true. And then we've got strange things going on in here and a weird fuzz out, like staccato cloud activity up here, all in a very close proximity to the other, all very low in the atmosphere as well. And there's nothing around in the sky that looks like this. So, of course, it calls out some attention, demands some attention. So anyway, B.1, look at that. Come on, that's a triangle. Triangles don't happen in nature in the skies. And then here, it's a cloaking craft or instrumentation or object of some type. And then here too, we've got some type of cloaking craft because we've got a different signature and distribution, like density of whatever this cloaking material is going around, wafting around this thing. And then we look up at C.1. What the heck is that? We got that staccato effect, where again I'm saying that's got to be some type of cloaking craft or other craft generating this wave activity, whether it's sound waves or, I don't know, light waves, whatever kind of waves it is. And then we've got this darker object, and look at this, we've got like a ring of this cloaking material coming around it. So come on, that's got to be some type of craft. And it even looks like it has a more or less straight edge or symmetrical edge over here with straight lines here and here. So what the heck? I would love to see that without all the cloak and the disturbance in the atmosphere. We're going to zoom in a bit because, again, just to show it a little clearer, see if we can get at any more. And I just still see that clear triangle. Can't really get to too much more, but it's interesting. It looks like there's a little... what do you call it, like a little companion craft or element, maybe just kind of clinging to the bottom of this like a remora does on a shark. See what you think is going on. Interesting color signatures going on in the background as well, because we are looking east at a sunset, not west. All right, now I came out of a store and I looked up. It just felt weird first and foremost, so I couldn't even really look directly at all of this. I just knew something felt odd. So I took a picture, and we zoom in, and I see like this straight element coming across, and this thing coming down right in front of this quote-unquote sun. I'm going to say this is a solar simulator in full action. Look at my previous shows to look at that concept of an artificial sun or solar simulator. Look at other Earth and Sky Watching channels about that too. Anyhow, we've got letter A. I'm not going to go into it on this show. It's on plenty of other shows. But now we've got this straight element here. Lots of strangeness going on. So definitely worth looking at with some enhancement. And this one, I was just trying to pull out what's going on here. I couldn't get at too much more. Looking at the color signatures, just this glaring bright white, artificial look of this whole assembly. Weird little bits and pieces, weird things that look like they have structure, popping up on angle this way. Well, we have other things coming straight across. Well, this is coming down this way. Again, all that movement just doesn't happen in a very local, low level in the sky, and there wasn't even much wind at all. We're going to zoom in on what's going on with this quote-unquote sun. We got this weird object like rolling around with like this stick-like element coming up. Again, something coming across at this angle as these things are coming down off to the left side at a totally different angle. I really couldn't get at too much more. It's more of just a feeling on this one that I know something just isn't right. We have the artificial like clear ball, really tiny white ball, which is not the sun, with another illuminating source beyond it, so we know for sure that's not the sun. This starts to look triangular to me in form, or it could just be the result of whatever this object is interfering in front, which does not look normal. Looks like it has some crystalline structure to it. Looks like a pure triangle in here, like zooming in from somewhere. So again, a lot of mysteries here. More question marks than answers today on that scene. All right, now we're looking west, and this was again toward an evening, and this just got really bizarre. So these clouds were coming like in a radial pattern up out of the south, and some of them passed right overhead, and they were low and dense, and they just felt like something was cloaking in there. That's the best I can say, but regardless, this is not a normal cloud pattern in the sky. And then we're going to zoom in on one of these elements coming over me. It just felt so artificial and weird. And so when I reduced it down by upping the brightness and some of the contrast, color saturation, we start to see this kind of fuzzy egg, you know. So it's almost like all of this is smoke and mirrors to conceal the fact that this is the core essence of whatever object is happening in there. See what you think. Here's another weird one. So look at this. We've got a straight edge at the bottom, near straight edge. Got some weird angles coming up here to make me think that this is maybe a triangular form hiding in there, with weird stuff coming down here. But wait till you see the enhancement. It's a lot of fun. What the heck is going on here? We got a reddish, you know, like a raspberry signature in here with purple indigos. You know, we got like blue, dark blue and purple happening over here with some cloaking material around it at 8.1. We got like a clear sphere with all kinds of stuff going on around it. And then here, these edges look even harder. I don't know what's going on in there, but I know that ain't natural, so to speak. And look at this. You can't have a jetting down vertical form or up, however you want to look at it, that banks off at a hard angle. I mean, that's not a true right angle, but it's close. And then within it look like there's some triangular forms or pieces. Look at that straight edge. And again, another sharp angle. Does not happen in a natural cloud system. Then we're going to look at this again. And here we're just looking at different color signatures, meaning there might be different forms or objects. And here is just kind of a weird blur out and staccato effect. And so I'm just noting the strangeness of this overall scene, let's just say, because this has like a stick with something coming off of it. It's just all very strange. See what you think is going on in this one. Then we're going to look over here. And let's see what we've got. So this was interesting because not only do we have, again, a weird collection of clouds and quotes, but look at this. Looks like we've got a pure red form or round form here that's trying to be obscured by all this staccato cloud and veiled activity, artificial cloud activity. The true sunset's over here somewhere. So look at it. It's bright white, and then we got some red-orange happening over here. So what is this? We've got a red-pink ball, folks. Look at the description box below of what that could be. All right, then we've got another similar scene to where we were, just moving over to the northwest a little bit more. And again, just strange things happening. And with enhancement, this is where the quote-unquote true sunset was going on, and that red ball would have been over here. You know, we've got this coming off on an angle. This is coming straight. That just would not happen with natural clouds, and they're all choppy and strange. And then this one looks like it's like maybe a cloaking craft on its own right, because kind of forming this like void, you know. Let's see if we can check it. No, we're not going to check that out any further. Now we're going to look northwest, and here we just again have a strange little collection of cloud and quote-unquote clouds. And so with enhancement we can see it's anything but typical cloud. We've got a triangular shape here. You know, what are these things going straight vertical? Well, you know, we've got something dome-like here, something doing its own thing here, kind of a weird oblong, you know, sphere egg shape happening here. This overall thing is just bizarre. You can't tell me that's a normal cloud. This is, you know, crafted in artificial means, and you know, I don't think natural. You know, it's got to be cloak and craft. And if it's not, let me know what you think it is. Okay, this was interesting. So this is called "Here's How the Cosmos Can Answer a Call" with a little smiley, because I was looking at another YouTube channel, and some of you may already be familiar with it. It's Lori Ladd. L-O-R-I-E, last name L-A-D-D. And she's, I think, based in California. But anyway, I just started kind of reconnecting with her site recently, or her channel. I had heard about her a long time ago, but nothing really clicked, you know, for me to take a look. And now, recently, I've kind of been tuning in. Do I agree with everything? No. You know, again, kind of look at everything that you hear from everybody, including myself, see what you think, what clicks with you, and what just doesn't, and then you just leave that part behind. But she's been putting out some really interesting and good, very positive shows lately. But anyway, I looked into some of her older stuff where she does more contact with galactics and goes more into the starseed bent take on things. And I just noticed she had one about how to call in your galactic guides, and I've never wanted to do that. just never felt compelled to do it. But then I did start questioning, who are your guides or your guardian angels, so to speak? Is it your future self, your higher self from the future, or a future you, or a parallel dimension you? It is said that we've got 11 or 12 yous, meaning 12 of us in different dimensions. I think it's possible. And so, who are these guardians and angels? Is it somebody, directly connected with God or Source? Are you tapping into ascended masters or ancestors? There's just so many ways to look at this. And I think the answer is, yeah, it's everything. So I didn't really give much thought to galactic family and all of that. But I thought, why not? And so I did, just meditate, just kind of close the eyes and just say, okay, I do believe in guardian angels and guardians of different kinds that are very positive beings. And I just said, okay, so if I have a star family, I ask that I'm fully shielded and protected. I'm only calling in anything as love and positive things. So I just said, hey, okay, I believe you're possible and that you're there. Why not? And if you are, show me something like in the clouds in the form of light or something, because I see cloak and craft anyway. Give me something a little bit more to go on to really extra prove it, right? And so the very next day, I was looking, something told me to go get sunglasses on because I was looking outside, through a screened-in porch, and the light just seemed to intensify so bright, like brighter than usual. And I'm like, wow, I just got to go in and get sunglasses. So I was with somebody else out there, and they weren't facing what I was facing. And I was just listening as they were talking, and I was just gazing out to the southwest, and I'm like, what is that? That's like a really bright rainbow at the rim at the top of this cloud. And it was really beautiful, and it had the full spectrum, and it was just in a weird place because it was really like emanating from within the cloud, not being created by anything reflecting or refracting off of it. And so this is the version without the sunglasses on, but it really grabbed my attention when I had the sunglasses on. Now, pardon all of this is just the effect of some aluminum screening, creating all this craziness. But if you squint your eyes, maybe you can see the effect. I just wanted to demonstrate the vibrance of this, like rainbow or cosmic light really coming off the rim of this thing. And it went from reds and oranges and then into the greens and turquoises and cyan over here. And then I noticed like a shape coming out when I put the enhancement on this and something strange happening over here. So anyway, the point is that if I didn't go put the sunglasses on, I might have missed this. And to me, this was just kind of whatever galactic forces kind of giving me a wink back, like, hey, we heard you, and you wanted to see light. Here you go. Here's light in the clouds. Now, this is another scene. So again, we've got the tail end of the spectrum happening here at C2. And then something else started to move in that looked like cloaking craft activity. And here's with enhancement, so you can see that spectrum that I really caught so much better with the sunglasses on. And then look, we start to see the shape of what could be a triangular craft. It's got some shadow, it's got a straight edge, it looks symmetrical, comes to a point. And we've got the disturbance in the sky, which is cloaking activity or whatever frequencies are being generated to create cloaking. And then even if you look here, there's like an imprint of a rounded rectangular form. So it was very interesting to me, beyond a shadow of doubt, though, that there is intelligence, at play in this area. And I do believe trying to get my attention specifically with this rainbow or spectrum embedded within this cloud rim. So anyway, again, here's the side by side without the glasses. Now without the screening, I did step outside and then to the right. And again, we just catch that undeniable presence here. Now, this happened well over 12 minutes. It was sustained in the cloud. I went out and looked 360 around me. There was nothing else creating rainbow. There was no rain, no moisture in the sky whatsoever. So again, to me, this was a very specific signal and answer to a little call and a little wink and nod to me. And I appreciate that, if that's what it was. Anyway, also there was some weird stuff going on with my camera at the same time, so I do have to believe it was all connected. But anyway, this is looking now, instead of where I was looking to the south, now turning attention to the west. And this was also popping up. We look at the right, we've got like a very clear straight edge. Looks like two triangles maybe, kind of abutting each other. Maybe another one over here, and maybe one right here. You see the point here. So a lot of strangeness going on, very interesting. Look, we got a point of a triangle here as well, like an imprint. So it was a very intriguing sky that day. We're going to zoom in a little. It's a little fuzzy, but you start to see some of this detail. Very interesting. Then I looked west, and we have this kind of strangeness popping up. So again, to me, this looks like cloaking activity. We've got some straight lines in here, all over the place. And let's see, I think we're going to look at it a couple more times coming up. This scene too, looking west, just was intriguing that we had this sphere-like thing popping up out of nowhere with this weird little thing trailing off of it. While it looked like something, there was movement and something cloaking back in here. So with enhancement, this is what we see. This is why I just, again, look at movement, I look at color and energy signatures, and look at this. Very clearly, a round shape that doesn't occur in a natural cloud. It's just so crisp, that hard line. And then here too, this is like an arrow or spear-like thing. Look at that. See what you think's going on. Alright, we're going to look at it zoomed out just to get the overall view. And, we also see a little bit of red-pink with this white outburst and then gold below. If you'll watch some of my other shows, previous shows, you'll see what I think is happening here. Alright, then we're going to look at this scene to the south. And this is kind of bizarre. We got all these little bits happening, but they're very concrete, very hard-edged, So let's take a look. And wow, look what's going on in this scene. Got a lot of movement coming through here. You see straight line, it curves, it looks like a tube. Looks like a very thin noodle. Then we got straight lines coming this way. A lot of agitation. We've got a hard piece coming out of this cloak. Looks like, something's concealed and hiding in here. This is a circular elliptical shape. Looks like the exhaust tube or something popping up out of there. See what you think is going on in this scene. It's very intriguing, very mysterious. Okay, now we're going to go back and look at what we were looking at before, and we start to see other little elements. This thing is kind of morphing and changing as far as what is going on in front of this thing. I'm still going to say it's cloak and craft, and we've got like a stick-like thing here. We're going to zoom in on this a little bit more, see what's going on. I can't tell you what's going on, but I do have to say it's got to be some type of cloak and craft or multiples. See what you think. Alright, we're going to look at that element. There it is again. We're zoomed out a bit. The original is down below. We've got a panorama. The north is to the right, the south is to the left. And so we're looking straight west here. And look at this shape. It's C.3. Pure triangle. Like a stick-like element at the bottom of it. Weird stuff starting to emerge into the scene here with structure to it. So I'm calling that overall cloak and craft with some kind of artificial veiling technique so we can't really see exactly what's going on. And we're going to look at it again because it's just so intriguing. We have other things moving about at all different angles. And look at this. Straight lines. Very strange. We're going to look now to the southeast at another weird little cluster here. We're going to zoom in, see if I can get any more detail. I can't get at too much, but I'm going to say that is not natural. This gets really interesting looking northeast. I started to see these crazy lines going all the different angles, something with more solidity to it. Something strange happening over here. This going on a different angle. This is straight. This is going out this way. This is strange. So here we go, and with some enhancement. You can see why I flagged this scene. Look at this. It's all choppy, so again, a master, I believe, cloaking technique by disturbing the entire atmosphere with some kind of waves or frequencies. Look how hard these edges are. A point. It's like an arrow, literal arrow. Like this cursor, if I flipped it around, really. And then we've got these other harder bits and chunks coming across. Now, is this overall one big thing, and this is patterns all over it, or there's things flying in front of it? I don't know. See what you think, but look here too. We got a clean edge curved here. Looks like little, patterning, with design to it in here. Just really bizarre. I couldn't get at too much more because it was really dim. That's the best my camera could do. Now we're going to go back to that one scene I spent a lot of time on to see it starts to disintegrate or something is coming or going out of the atmosphere. I just thought, let's see what it looks like now. And now it's morphing and changing even more into some really weird cloaking stuff. Weird things kind of bulging and poking out of here. Just really strange. Okay, now, also really strange, looking northwest, so a little bit more to the north of that scene where we just were, and I start to see not only a clear shape, but look at this. This is like a very artificial cloak looking, moving all the way down here in a straight line. Now this line is a chemtrail, chemical filled trail. Look at some of my previous shows on what that means if you're not familiar with the concept. Also look at other Earth and Sky watching channels all over YouTube. But here's another, line being formed as I was watching it. And again, the backlighting effect made it so apparent. So I couldn't see if there was a plane or an orb or nothing seemingly creating this. But it just, started trailing and being created before my eyes. And it's definitely artificial. And no way in a cloud system are you going to have this X forming by two totally different systems. Consistencies of quote-unquote cloud material. So here we go with enhancement. You can just really see that's like a line as sure as day as these lines are power lines. This thing is drawn so crisp and clean. It's not a condensation trail because it lasts in the sky forever, doesn't dissipate, spreads out and becomes part of this artificial mass. And then these look like objects back in here. And this, come on, this is like so straight. It's got to be an artificial craft or part of one or some type of thing, object. Okay, now I want to say someone's having fun or just showing off. Because look at this on the left. More of these weird lines and movements. I'm like, come on. So on the right we have the enhanced version. And look at this. What the heck is going on here? By whom and by how many things are creating this? So we have this curved line, this one curving up, this going this way. You know, these don't look like actually like chemtrails to me. These look like some cloaking craft, just having a good time out here. You know, this has some like a machine part feel to it, you know, like poking out toward us. And I don't know, you know, see what you think is going on. But I think just somebody had a lot of fun using a lot of imagination and like creating their own little sky painting. All right, now this is fun. This is just 3 slides long, and I'm just going to say, get ready, old school 3-slide time lapse and quotes, because this is looking in the direction where I saw that beautiful like cosmic light rainbow answer to a call. And I just couldn't help but notice this triangular shape at A. Then we had this weird little shape at B, and the overall thing just felt weird. So watch what happens, and I'll repeat this little old school time lapse in a minute. It just means I'm going to manually fly through the slides. So watch this. Oh, and also look, we got a straight line coming here. So all of this is highly suspect of being cloak and craft. So watch this. There. Okay, so watch A and B. Ready? A and B. Okay. Now that just poofed away in the span of 3 minutes. Really strange. I'm going to do it one more time. Watch A and B. What is that? That's all I'm going to say. Everything else around it is staying or would just move on. Those just disintegrated and disappeared. Anomalous? Yes. All right. Anyway, here is the photo of the day and the close of the show. I just pulled back the rose quartz and the green opal just to zoom in and highlight its beautiful features. So I want to say thank you for bringing some beautiful energies here a while and stopping by on this channel. I wish you tremendous peace and love wherever you are in the world. It is Monday where I am at, so I wish you not only a gorgeous now, but a beautiful week ahead. Also, for those suffering under or struggling under any of the current conditions, let's just say, whether it's you know, hurricanes, as in Louisiana, big best wishes going out over there, especially when I observed very clearly that storm was artificially boosted and weather manipulated. So, you know, blessings, love, and protection going out to all of you there. Also, of course, Australia and anywhere, Canada, anywhere being hit extra and unnecessarily hard right now because there is an evil, larger agenda. This is not about a health issue. This is about manipulation, control, tyranny, and something extremely demonic, and I will use the word demonic, dark energy. So anyway, here's to lifting all of that up, wiping it, vanquishing all of that off the planet, uplifting everything, bathing the entire, envision the whole world and the earth, just emanating light from the core, just pink, golden, love, light, you know, divine light just coming up out of all the lands and the oceans, just blessing and kissing everything it touches, all of life. So best wishes, peace and love to all. Lavender Sky Panther, bye.